Hello everyone, welcome to the English class. This is Sandeep Kumar from Shiv Jyoti Educational Group Kota. Today we are going to start fourth chapter of Footprints Without Feet, A Triumph of Surgery, written by James Herriot. So first of all, let's have a sight towards James Herriot. Author was a vet surgeon and a writer as well. Vet surgeon means a doctor of animals. He has always introduced readers with his life experiences related to animals. And same goes with this chapter also. That is why it is named as Triumph of Surgery. So at first we need to know the meaning of triumph. It means to win, succeed or victory. And second is surgery. So whose surgery is going to be done? So let's find out. James Herriot says that he was going somewhere with his own vehicle and saw Mrs. Pumphrey, who is the owner of Tricky. Tricky is a dog and who is the main character of this story. So he saw Mrs. Pumphrey with Tricky going on walk. He was so surprised and shocked. Do you know why? Because Tricky seems overweighted and bloated, like a slothy, or we can say a lethargic dog. That is why author felt that now Tricky is going to be sick. So as he tried only to ask Mrs. Pumphrey to know about it, she already mentioned her justification that actually I had been trying to prevent Tricky from eating junk and oily food, but I was afraid of this, that Tricky might have malnutrition. Due to this fear only, she gave him many things to eat, and even she could not deny to give him such types of things because Tricky was fond of all these eatables. So Harriet understood that in this case a dog is mistaken because he is greedy. So never says no to eatables. Then in very concerned voice he told Mrs. Pumphrey that she needed to neglect all these things to give to Tricky because all these things were not good for his health. As she listens, this thing she becomes sad and she feels Tricky was her lovable dog and she wants to feed him nicely. On the other hand, she was little bit ashamed also because she didn't agree with doctor even earlier. But now decides quickly to not to give Tricky any snacks now onwards. As till so many days there was no call from Pumphrey to author. So he thought that now everything might be fine with Tricky. He may not be eating extra snacks. But all of a sudden there was a call from Mrs. Pumphrey and she tells doctor that Tricky refused to eat food and was given into vomiting as well. So now Mr. Herriot decides to keep Tricky far from Pumphrey's home and he will give him treatment according to Harriet's choice. So he told her that Tricky needs to be hospitalized for his recovery. And Harriet comes with his helpers and servants to receive Tricky and his luxurious belongings, like his bowl, his blanket, and some clothes. Mrs. Pumphrey and the caretakers were all melancholic at his departure because he was the beloved pet for them. The people cannot survive without him. Now as Mr. James brought Tricky with him at his place, he decides not to give him more comfortable zone because he knew that Tricky was so pampered dog. So after reaching there, Tricky feels uncomfortable because everything was new to him. Like other dogs, those seems like a stranger one. No snacks were provided to him. Even Mr. James also decides that he will give him only water to drink. None of the eatable will be given, so that Tricky will start to recover. He didn't give him any medical treatment or any surgery because he wanted to make him fine by natural ways. So now at the end of second day, Tricky started feeling better. He started moving here and there, but still he was not feeling like home because at home he was like a pampered child. But there he was not given any special treatment, so he had to survive as same as other dogs. But now he started involving himself with other dogs in many activities and used to enjoy with them, such as he was playing with them, moving here and there, running with other dogs. Now regularly Mr. Harriet used to get a call from Mrs. Pumphrey to ask about Tricky, that how is he getting recovery and all. But whatever reply Harriet used to give, she wasn't satisfied with it. And here in the chapter you may have noticed that author has used one special word for Tricky's health, and that is convalescing, which means recovery of someone's health. By this word he felt that Mrs. Pumphrey will come interest about the health of Tricky. Now, don't you think that why Mr. James brought Tricky from his home? Even here he was not given any medical treatment or surgery. Yes, because he knew that out of love, out of affection, Mrs. Pumphrey will give oily food, junk food, chocolates and many more appetizers. Those will create health issues to Tricky. That's why he brought Tricky with him. But Mrs. Pumphrey's affection towards Tricky was still continue, as she kept sending eggs, wine, chocolates, etc., all the things at the clinic for Tricky. But what do you think? Was these all given to Tricky accordingly? No. It was a wonderful treat for James and his co-workers. They used to eat all those things now in breakfast ritually. After enjoying these things till so many days, author feels like that Tricky is becoming fit, so he must be sent back to his home. But now it was difficult for author as he was having attachment with Tricky. But still he made a call to Mrs. Pumphrey and informed that Tricky was fit enough to return home. Within half an hour, a black car braked at the door of the surgery. And yes, it was of Mrs. Pumphrey, who came here to pick up Tricky. She was so glad to see her dog after many days. Even Tricky jumped off on seeing his owner from the arms of Harriet. So now she asks James that how could she be thankful to him due to his recovery and transformation, because still she knows that Tricky was given any medical treatment for it, and it was a triumph of surgery, but it was nothing like that. We people only know that the transformation came to the Tricky only due to the natural things. He wasn't given any of the medical treatment, any of the injection or any surgery. So here the story ends. Do you know what is the theme of the story? Yes, the theme of the story is that change of environment can change not only human beings but also animals. Children, have you heard that idiom that be Romian in the Rome? As wherever we people live, we have to change ourselves accordingly. So the same thing happened with the Tricky also. When he was at his home, he was very pampered child. Everything was easily provided to him without any of the efforts. Due to this thing only, there was the bad impacts on his health. But as he got in the surgery house with the author, He didn't get any of the comfort zone. No appetizers were provided, no extra snacks were given to him. He was treated as a simple dog or other dogs, those who were living there. These all the things were the reason of his transformation. So the conclusion of the story is that environment can change not only human beings but also animals. That is all for today. Thank you for listening to me.